Hey, welcome, friends and family. Super excited to be here with you. This is the beginning of spring, our beginning of our selling season. Gage, I think last week as a sales team, I believe we put 16 under contract in one
hmm
week. So, welcome to spring. And Gage is back with us. Now you've been with us how long?
Since January, so it's right at 3 months.
So approximately 90 days. You came in really at the slowest time of the year,
Oh yeah.
January, February. Everything's always a little slow. It starts to ramp up from now,
hmm
gets a little crazy until about June or July. So, Gage, how many currently do you have closed?
Closed. I've currently closed on three,
All
and I
right.
have three pending right now.
All right. Three closed, three pending. Congratulations, man. Those are great numbers. I'm sure I've said this to you before, but just always like to let our viewing audience know. Last year, 74% of all real estate agents closed
hmm
two deals or less. 74% of
Right.
all real estate agents closed two deals or less. So, Gage, welcome to the 24% club. Man, you're here at the 26% club
Yeah.
just by already closing three deals in your first 90 days. So that's about a deal a month. You've got
hmm
three pending. So you're ramping up pretty strong coming out of the slow season into spring. Have you noticed a difference from the slower season to spring?
I have, and it's also just a good selling point in general. With the weather getting better, a lot of people want to go view homes, and
Mm-hmm.
and a lot more properties coming onto the market as
Mm-hmm.
we've seen. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, seems like when you get out of that winter rut, everyone's looking to move or maybe good investment opportunities. So definitely seen a big difference.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, and so 90 days in, three closed, three pending. Um, so today we just kind of want to check under the hood and talk about some questions that I know in your
hmm
first 90 days you're kind of really learning to sort through. And I think what really separates folks that are going to play the real estate profession at a very high level
hmm
is how do you determine the motivation of the person you're trying to serve? Like,
Right.
there's a lot of people out there, man, that are take all your time, all your energy, and
hmm
then not end up doing anything. I'm going to tell you, Gage, when I first started in this profession, well before I got into coaching with Mike Ferry organization,
hmm
well before I started a team, I'm talking 18 years now in the business, and I'm talking probably my first year or two.
hmm
I'll never forget riding around with a super nice couple. I still remember their names. They were very sweet people. But they would come down and we would go all over. I was born and raised around here like you.
hmm
I went to places in Morgan County
Oh
and
yeah.
in Fenchurch County and in Cumberland County that in Sparta that, man, I had never been to in my life. So as
hmm
far as like kind of getting to sightsee and get out and like see beautiful country, but I was always kind of sweating too because like I hadn't ever got to these homes before. I didn't know where they were. So I'm always counting on my GPS, and you know how
hmm
GPSs are. Sometimes they take you out.
Oh yeah.
Thankfully, these were really nice people.
hmm
Um, and we were pretty excited, man. I mean, back then we were looking at like 350, $400,000 homes, which
Yeah.
today that price is still pretty good. But I mean, you got a lot of buyers coming from out of state, 500,000, 600,000 now is kind of
hmm
more high end. Um, Not to say 350 or four ain't, but I mean, basically, you're getting a starter home now at around 350. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah. Right
So,
at it.
so, man, but we were super excited. I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to do is paint a picture of these were probably 5, 10 acre tracts, 1,800 square foot homes. I mean, they
Right.
were really
Nice
nice.
properties.
And this is, again, 17 years ago. So, me and Lindsay, we're just so excited to be working with these
hmm
people, go all over. And then did this with them off and on for about a year. We finally found the home they loved. And we got ready. We wrote up the offer. So excited to help them negotiate this contract. Probably been in the business now 2 years. Might have wrote up 10 full contracts. And so, but I'm really excited. It's the biggest
hmm
contract ever. Come to find out, they couldn't even get approved for the home. So
Oh
we had been with
good.
these folks a whole year looking at
Right.
properties, and they were not even, they couldn't get approved for a loan. You
hmm
talk about just taking the wind out of us.
I bet.
And you know, Lindsay and I were young. It was before kids. We were
hmm
driving an old um, red Cherokee, Jeep Cherokee that was just a beater. You know, I mean, like
hmm
most of the time it started kind of
Right.
vehicle. And I'm sure people really felt bad for us. So these people probably felt as bad for us as we did when we couldn't help them get the home because we didn't have the knowledge.
Right.
to even ask, have you talked with the lender? Have you been pre-approved for a loan? So, man, with you 90 days in the business, three
Mhm.
closed, three pending, tell us a little bit, sir. How do you check the motivation? How do you look under the hood? How do you know how you can help people or not?
Yeah, really, I just enjoy getting to know people first off, and really, I like to focus on why they're looking for a property or what's the reason, or mainly the location. I feel like is the biggest
Hmm.
because if people can give me a location, I ask them, well, what's bringing them to that area, and I've some, I've only been in it for 3 months, but I've experienced a little bit of what you're talking about, where I feel like
Hmm.
I've been more of a tourist guide
Hmm.
versus an actual realtor, and that's something I'm working on every single day is actually finding that motivation and figuring out is there a problem I can solve, and if so, then I know they're probably as gung ho about it as I am in getting it resolved.
Hmm.
Therefore, an offer could be right on the horizon. Just got to
Yes.
find them the right property
Yes.
versus driving around and just a lot of people do want to go look to look on a beautiful day, and I don't blame them, but it's finding that balance of
Hmm.
it's a job and a profession as well.
Right. Right.
So,
You came from a phenomenal career where you earned $50,000, $60,000 a year. And as a young man, you value your time.
oh yeah.
You want to be a professional and you want to bring that same touch to this
Hmm.
profession. And so one of the first things that I think that any good uh, top performer is going to begin to realize is like, can I really help these people or not? So what do you look for location? You gave us one really good thing.
Yeah.
What else are you checking for when you're
Oh,
checking out their motivation?
timeline really it's depending on a lot of people can talk about wanting to make a big move, a lot of
Hmm.
people can dream about wanting to make a move, but
Hmm.
it's what's
Hmm.
going to actually make them want to make that move. Are
Hmm.
they moving to get closer with family, are
Yeah.
they retiring, and if they
Hmm.
are retiring, how soon are they looking to retire, or
Right.
is this something 3 years down the road?
Yeah.
Do they want a piece of land to just hold and maybe develop in the future or put a house on, or are they looking now they're ready, they know Tennessee's where they want to be, they want to come enjoy the beautiful parks and water we have to offer here, and it's really just getting down into timeline. I would say is
Hmm.
massive,
Hmm.
and when they're looking to move, and then really just communication is probably the other massive thing. I mean, I communicate thoroughly with all of my clients, but if they're not communicating back with me, it gives you a very good idea on where they're at probably when it comes to motivation. If they're not willing to discuss the properties and what they did and didn't like to help you best find their needs, maybe they're not super ready and interested in looking to go.
I would take note of that if I was writing down notes today because that's huge what you just said. If they're very motivated, they're probably going to be answering your
Hmm.
questions, following through with things that maybe you're
They should
asking
be
to
as
do.
excited as you are. I
Yes.
mean, you're
Yes.
trying to find them a home, and if
Hmm.
you're trying to pull them out of it every morning to get answers and to figure out really what they're looking for, then that should kind of give you an idea on where
Yeah.
they're at.
Yeah, that's great, man. They should be excited as you are. They should be as excited as you are. All right, my friend. So, question here: most important part of a realtor's of a new agent's day. What's the most important part of your day?
Yeah, well, I mean, as you said with that stat, a lot of people only do two deals. Most
Hmm.
realtors have only done two deals in the last year.
Hmm.
And I think the most important part is some type of schedule, but I would say my morning routine is probably the most important. Getting in here, responding to any emails or text messages I may have, and then looking at my task for the day, always setting objectives and tasks to follow up with each day,
Hmm.
and being able to get in here in the morning before most people are getting out of bed, and whether I'm researching properties for people, answering
Hmm.
additional
Hmm.
questions,
Hmm.
if I'm that first text they see in the morning, I'm usually inclined to get a reply before they make it to work. So,
That's awesome, man.
got to race them
That's
to it.
awesome. So you believe in a strong AM routine
Hmm.
and being to an office by a certain time every day, being involved in talking to communicating with clients before
Hmm.
probably what time?
Oh, I'm usually messaging them before 7:30 because I know most people start work around 8
Yep.
o'clock. And if I can talk to them a little bit before work, and then while they're working, I'm gonna do my work. And then
Hmm.
at the end of the day, we get to come back together and figure out where to go from there. It's
That's
it's
amazing.
worked out quite successful getting up in the morning and being able to successfully talk to people. So,
That's great, man. AM schedule.
hmm,
Get that right. Start talking to your clients right. Be in an office by a certain time every day. Take it serious like a job, right? It's
hmm,
not just a hobby for you. This is something that you're taking very seriously because
right,
obviously you see yourself as in a career that could put food on the table for you, Mackenzie, for your family to come.
hmm,
You take your business seriously, and
for
those that
sure.
do probably are going to have a pretty strong AM schedule.
Hmm.
All right, great, man. And so, Gage, just kind of following up. We've had great dialogue about finding motivation. And one thing
Mhm.
that you said there is they should be as excited as you are about finding the home that they want to live in. And that
Right.
should be exciting to them.
Mhm.
Obviously, a little nervous, but also very exciting. And when you have an agent who's getting in touch with you sometimes as early as 7:30, 8 o'clock, they know you're motivated and you're excited to help them. So this leads to why you probably have three closed and three pending in 90 days. So, my friend, I know it's not all a bed of roses. I
Mhm.
know this is a tough sport. I know that you've got to be spiritually, physically, mentally pretty good shape to go
Right.
out and hit the gauntlet like you are right now. So, tell us, man, what's some of the bigger challenges you have as a new agent starting a new career in your first 9 days, personally, even in the field? What's some of the challenges that you're picking
Yeah.
up on?
Well, I mean, personally, I would say probably the biggest thing if you're looking at coming into real estate or becoming a realtor would definitely be setting a budget and knowing what your expenses are and what you're
Hmm.
going to need to make.
Hmm.
Obviously, you're not going to come in and be a millionaire.
Hmm.
You have
Hmm.
everyone's going to start somewhere.
Yep.
So, setting a budget and being able to stick to it and really truly understanding, you know, you're here to help people. Yes, you can make some good money while you're helping people, but at
Hmm.
the end of the day, your main goal is to fill a need in somebody's life and help them be able to get that house.
Yep.
And that's the biggest thing I would say, budgeting, definitely being able to manage your money and
Know and set a budget. And that's the big word right there, that first word you put, know.
mhm,
You know what I mean? You need to know what it's going to take you to run. Maybe, we always tell folks when they join our team, you need to be able to go 90 days without a paycheck.
right,
Now, we all know that Casey, our sales coach, has got a personal goal to get you one in the first 30
30
days,
days.
but that ain't always the case.
Right.
So we will always tell folks you should be budgeted for 90 days of knowing you
Mhm,
may not go. And the reason why you say that is it's straight commission.
mhm,
You're not getting any salary. It's not hourly pay.
right,
It's either you go out there and you can perform or you don't.
mhm,
It's feast or famine in a way. And then, like you said, unfortunately, for a lot of the agents out there that may be only doing two deals in a year or less,
mhm,
then they're so attached to that paycheck that the whole deal
right,
gets to be about that paycheck, and you kind of get the client ends up going to the number two position or
mhm,
three, the paycheck goes to first. If you properly budgeted like you have, then you can still focus on helping people.
mhm.
I heard you correctly. That's what you basically said right there,
Yeah.
was it? Yeah, yeah. All right, so what about, so personally that's great, what about professionally? What challenges have you faced there, brother?
Professionally, I mean, it's almost like any other occupation. You have to deal with people,
Mm-hmm.
humans, and not everyone is very capable of always doing their job. I would say maybe to the best of their ability, or maybe to what you think they should do it to, or how you do your own job. We're
Mm-hmm.
all humans, and we all have bad days and good days too.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say that's probably been the biggest challenge. I'm always upfront with everybody. My communication is probably my biggest key I have, and I do keep good communication with my clients or lenders or anyone else I might be working with. Our
Mm-hmm.
transaction coordinator here's
Mm-hmm.
amazing,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Renee. She helps keeps everything in line and order, but
Yeah.
but you will struggle and deal with just working with general people who don't communicate as much as you, and having to kind of dig for answers.
Do you have any tough deals going currently?
I do. I have one actually that I took over from a fellow agent of mine wanted to help this lady out. She's looking at this very nice property in Crossville.
Mm-hmm.
It's a $70,000 house, and it's a very nice house. It's everything she's wanted,
Mm-hmm.
and we've just struggled with multiple extensions and trying to get this one to the closing table due to lending issues,
And
just
again,
for the
this
fact that the house is manufactured.
and does this
And
go back to a little bit about what you just said, the other people on the other side being some of the challenges here?
it does. And I'd sum it up in saying you get what you put in, but
Mm-hmm.
not everyone puts in what you're going to.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
you can do the best of your ability, and you can wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and start messaging people, be here before any other realtor, but you still have to be willing to roll with the punches and understand that life's going to happen to you,
Yeah.
whether that's in regards to the budget or working with a lender or someone who
Yes.
may not be as communicative as you are.
Mm-hmm.
So
So tell us a little bit about just give us a little backstory on it. And I know you picked up this client; they were probably already under contract.
mhm.
Did it, was this their first time being under contract with the property?
It is. It was their first time being under first home buyer, actually. So she's
Okay,
never purchased a house before. So pretty nervous about the whole situation.
sure.
Needed to be worked through everything. I did pick it up when it was already under contract and it was about to actually expire. And then we ended up getting her in touch with the right lender that could best help her and suit her
Mhm.
needs.
Mhm.
And we got a couple extensions done on that
Mhm.
due to getting paperwork filed and being able to work through things with her. And as of right now, thankfully, we are set to close hopefully on Friday.
Okay.
So that is
Okay.
the goal. It's been 3 months that we've been
Okay.
working with her
3
very closely.
months. So this is
So
something that has been really extended out for her, a lot of pressure on her.
mhm.
And as the agent, what do you do to help in that situation?
Yeah, really just talking her through the whole situation of what it looks like
Hmm.
and really, I mean, understanding that she has a life too. You know, she can't just take off work and answer calls whenever. So you really got to make the most of your time when you have it. But explaining to her how lending works and what
Hmm.
it's going to look like at closing and how much is actually due, and just working her through the contracts and
Hmm.
repair proposals
Hmm.
and I know she's very excited to do that final walkthrough and be able to see everything the way it is, and I'm just excited to know that she'll actually have her own piece of property in her own house and be able to start building equity, which I had to explain to her how
Hmm.
equity works and being able to get
Hmm.
into a house and build value for herself
That's great.
instead of renting.
That's great.
And it's really been a great process. And honestly, between me and Renee, it's been awesome getting to work together, but it's definitely came with plenty of challenges. So
How many of your three closings have been easy?
I would say probably none of them, to be honest.
They all got challenges, don't they?
They
Every
do.
deal comes with a challenge,
They do.
and
Nothing's handed to you, that's for
nothing,
sure.
it's not
I don't
easy.
expect it to be either.
No, and you can handle it. You can handle it. You're definitely from my experience in life, man, you're very rare. You've got a great strong mindset. You're going to push through. You're humble, hungry, smart.
I
And
appreciate it.
that's what you're looking for in a motivated agent.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, man, none of them are easy. They all have their challenges. And man, what I see when we have this conversation, sir, we call you 12 gauge around here, Gage, is that you are fired up to help this lady purchase a $70,000 manufactured home. And
Hmm.
and man, my hope and my prayer is that when we're still working here together 3, 5 years from now, man, you have that same fire.
Hmm.
And if anything, man, if you're not out there helping them, that you're giving people fire that's out there doing that work for them, because
For sure.
to her, that's the most important thing. For
Right.
her
And
getting in that home.
I know how easy it can be for someone like that to be overlooked, just being
Yes,
quite honest. Because I
yes.
mean, $70,000 for a house isn't, one, you're not going to find them often, and two, it's not much for anybody in the mix of things.
Hmm.
But if that's what she wants and will make her the happiest client, then there's no reason for me to look past it. You know,
Yeah,
might as well help her in the best way.
you're putting that lady and her needs above your wants and your needs, and that's what leads to longevity in this kind of career.
Hmm.
So, Gage, thank you, man. Appreciate you coming
Yeah.
out, giving us
Appreciate
a
you.
hand here today. This has been a great video. I think we could say we all learned a lot. I could review very clearly the answers to these three questions, but I hope for our listening audience that you heard clearly what Gage is teaching us here and that you can go back and listen to those again and again. If you're thinking about getting a real estate
Hmm.
license, this is something that you would be interested in doing. Um, this is going to be somebody very good to listen to because he's not just sitting in this chair talking with none experience. This is a man that's put time, effort, and work in the last 90 days to come up with some phenomenal results. And he's taking time to share that with you today. And I'm sure you've got a busy day ahead of you, right?
Oh yeah, busy
Yeah,
day, and the one thing to remember is I'm living through it. We can sit
mhm.
here and talk about it, but it's my day to day, so
That's right, man.
it's going awesome. So it's
Appreciate you,
definitely a good
Gage.
time to get involved.
Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate y'all. Have a great rest of your week.